Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. This is a breaking news episode as we just got confirmation Diddy has just been sentenced to 50 months in prison for his crimes. Let's get right into it. For the last 2 years, the world has been watching this Diddy situation, and we all have seen how bad it truly got when the trial started. While a lot of things in the trial were kept a mystery, we still were able to see some of the things that Diddy was up to in the industry and what he was doing to upcoming artists in that industry. Diddy was a man with so much power, and by now we've learned that he took advantage of that power every moment he could. Everybody that he could take advantage of, he took advantage of because he knew that he had something they wanted. Most upcoming artists are willing to do anything to make it, and Diddy exploited that, took advantage of that to the fullest degree, made so many upcoming artists do things for him, compromise themselves so that he can give them a small opportunity and use them up until their career was over. Diddy was a true monster in the music industry, and for the longest, it looked like he was going to be a monster unchecked. He was going to be able to do whatever he wanted, and no one was going to be able to do anything about it. That was until 2023, where one of his victims finally decided to stand up to him, called them out, sued them, and started the downfall of Diddy. Eventually, a criminal investigation into Diddy commenced, and the prosecution had confirmed what many people knew. Diddy was truly a monster. He had victimized so many people and used his immense money and power to make all of his crimes go away. So when the government declared that they were going to be bringing charges against Diddy and he would have to go to trial, most people felt that Diddy was finally going to pay for all of his sins. When the trial began, we saw how it played out, and unfortunately, we started to see that this trial wasn't going to end in the way that it should. And although Diddy was eventually found guilty in that trial, sadly, most of the charges that we all know he committed were dismissed, and he was only charged with 2 smaller charges that wouldn't lead to him facing any real significant time for the crimes he really committed. And now, months after he was found guilty, it was finally revealed that Diddy was only sentenced to 50 months. The judge sentenced Diddy to 50 months with 12 months credits for his time served. He also gave him 5 years of supervised release and just issued them a $500,000 fine. From the statement the judge gave after giving him the sentence, it appears that he's claiming to give Diddy a second chance. He was quoted saying, "Being a champion in uplifting black and brown communities, that's what you set out to do at the beginning of your career decades ago. Your letter said you lost your way, but there's a true path to redemption here. What went wrong and what could be made right?" The judge then told Combs he was counting on him to make the most of his second chance. Out of the 5 charges that Diddy was charged with, he was only found guilty of 2. He was found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy, not guilty of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and another trafficking charge. And he was only found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
We definitely appreciate it. Now, we are following some more breaking news. It has been a very busy Friday here as we have this post from the Inner City Press saying that Sean Diddy Combs has just been sentenced to 50 months of incarceration by the judge. That would be minus the 14 months that he's already served. Right now, I do want to head out to our Fox 5 New York team as they do have extensive coverage. Again, TMZ right there saying Diddy sentenced to 4 years in prison.
Decades, literally decades. He was facing a sentence of like life in prison, and now let's see, he's got 14 real months in. That's really going to count for like a year and a half. With the programming that he'll get, he could be in a halfway house in 2 years, in 24 months.
But look at the wording that was of interest. You know, how the judge was pretty much admonishing him, taking into account that the judge felt that he had not shown any remorse. You know, like that Combs cried on the stand before, like that. How effective do you think that was playing a part in this? My
uneducated guess is that the judge knew exactly what he was doing before he walked into that courtroom today, that he let everyone have their speech. Everyone, like, you know, I mean, this went on. Normally these things are an hour and a half. We've been here for 8 hours, right? I was on with Rosanna this morning and Kurt, and I said it's going to be somewhere, I said plus or minus 5. So it was on a little bit of the minus 5. 4 years, 2 months. As I said, I think this judge, he said almost exactly what we predicted him to say. I know you've done a lot of good things, but I also need to take the bad things you've done into consideration, and therefore, here's my sentence. The prosecutor asking for 11 years was way beyond the pale. Department of Probation said 7 years, and he undercut them. I will tell you, no matter what they say when they come out here, the defense attorneys, I hope they're not going to get mad at me for saying this. They're going to go and have a great meal tonight. They signed up for a case where a guy was facing life in prison, and now a 50-year-old man will probably get out at 52 to 53 years old, which is 4 years younger than I am. He'll have his whole life ahead of him. He's got tens of millions of dollars in the bank, and hopefully he'll make this horrible situation as productive as possible. He's already started teaching classes consequences.
To me, this all just once again confirms what I've been saying on this channel since the beginning. The judicial system only works for those that are the uninitiated. But those who are initiated, rich, and successful, they are allowed to do whatever they want, and they always get away with it.
Diddy was wealthy, right?
He is wealthy.
He is wealthy.
Yeah.
And they talk about stuff like the Illuminati.
Wow, you gonna go that far?
Yeah, I'm going there. Did you
see
did you see anything?
Say, bro, is my vape ready? I gotta smoke with this. You gonna fall now?
We're gonna go a little
Y'all
deep.
see that? I don't think you're ready for that.
I think we are.
I don't think you are.
No, I'm not. I'm probably not. Let's go there. But we want to go there.
You sure that's what you want?
Yeah, I want to go there.
All right.
So the Illuminati, is this a real thing?
Yes.
And were you ever introduced to it? Did you?
I would never tell you that. But I would tell you one thing. I told you, success don't come from working hard. What I told you, success comes from being chosen.
Chosen, right?
You just didn't catch me. I went over your head.
Right.
I already told you it was Illuminati.
Okay.
But you gotta have you gotta have supply and demand. You gotta be able to supply what they're willing. You know, you gotta have it. You gotta have what they want. And your job is to make sure that you keep providing it, or they're gonna do you something.
Right.
This is how Diddy is getting away with it now. And yes, he was sentenced to 50 months, and most likely will only serve 30 months of those. I don't think that's a sufficient punishment for the crimes that Diddy did. Those of us who have been keeping track of all of these accusations made against Diddy, we know that Diddy done a lot of dirt while he was in the industry. But somehow, they only charged him with 5 things. And then out of those 5 things, 3 of those charges were dropped and he was given the lightest sentence possible. It's because this all was a show. Like I said at the very beginning when this happened, this was Diddy being taught a lesson. Diddy decided to overstep against the true elite, those who own Diageo and all those liquor brand companies that are worth billions of dollars. He thought that he was going to be able to use his influence and power to make them bend to his will. And that didn't work out at all, as Diddy was then made an example of. But it appears that they're giving Diddy a second chance, as that's exactly what the judge is telling us, that they're giving him a second chance. We all know that Diddy is a guilty man. We heard the things he did on that trial. We heard what he had Cassie doing in those hotel rooms. Those were rituals. Those weren't just parties and hookups like he wants to make them seem. Diddy was deeply involved in dark demonic things. And we know the judicial system is set to protect these monsters. They do it every single time. All of the crimes that he's done for the last 30 years while he's been in hip-hop, and all he's gonna have to do is 50 months in prison for all of the demonic things he's done. We should have known this was gonna happen the moment that we saw the trial. The trial protected all the celebrities in Hollywood, didn't name a single person, didn't tell us who was his accomplices, they didn't reveal who was at his freak-off parties, they didn't reveal any of that. They kept all of that a secret, they protected names. This was just a show. That's why they didn't let us see it, because that's all it was. It was just a giant show. They wanted to be able to spin the narrative however they wanted to see fit, because at the end of the day, they knew that they weren't going to make Diddy face significant time. This is not a punishment worthy for the crimes that Diddy did. It's the same thing we saw with the Young Thug situation. Young Thug pleaded guilty to violent crimes as well, and they let him go home. Diddy isn't going to be in prison for that long, and we know once he gets out, he's going to be right back doing exactly what he was doing before he went in. All of the stuff he's saying right now is theatrics. All of that stuff is nonsense. It shows us how corrupt this system truly is. It does not work fairly. It only works fairly if you're a nobody with no money. Then if you were facing the same charges as Diddy, they would have put you under the prison for 30 years. Diddy is initiated. Diddy is a part of their brotherhood. He overstepped, they taught him a lesson, and now they're gonna let him go home in a few years. Go right back to his same position doing exactly what he did. The only good thing that came out of this is that we all now know who Diddy really is, what Diddy's really up to, and what he's been doing in the industry. We know what the freak-offs are now. They're rituals, sadistic, weird rituals that Diddy does using upcoming artists that he takes advantage of. Honestly, this is horrible news. Realistically, I was hoping he would have gotten at least 10, 11 years. And even that, I don't believe is enough. Because when we think about what Diddy really has done while he's been in the industry, none of it even compares. Diddy has been associated with murders. Diddy has been associated with people getting shot in the club. Diddy has been associated with beatings, with manipulation, with all types of crimes. And all he's gonna do is 50 months, which he has already served, according to them, 12 to 15, if I'm not mistaken. This is truly horrible news. And sadly, soon, the diddler's gonna be back out in the free world, so he can victimize more people and ruin more lives. Well, I'm gonna end this one here. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.